Hey, Sam here in the first of our video interviews for E-Commerce Expo, Technology for Marketing and AdTech London 2019. I'm here with the Global CEO of the BCMA Group. Now, this is Andrew Canter. Andrew, tell us about how you got to this position.
Well, I mean, I started my career back in the 80s in advertising. I worked at Young Rubicam, so I'm officially a madman. Okay. And in those days, you know, the creative and the media were all in one place. So it was a really amazing opportunity to learn all the different aspects of advertising. So I was part of the media team, but we were very much encouraged to go and talk to the creative teams and the account planning teams and account directors. And it was really about the full service delivery, working with lots of big brands. I worked on the government account for many years. So, you know, really understood what, you know, public service broadcasting was all about. And from there, in about the mid-90s, someone had this brainwave to say that we should put the creative and the media in different places, which, you know, to me was a bit of a crazy idea. You know, why would you want to do that? And I kind of understand why. But so it really put the focus much more on media in isolation, and it did and the creative industry as well. So. And I suppose in that time, that's when data really became so important. And I started what is today Havas Media, was Mediapolis, and then became Media Planning Group. And really, you know, it was a real amazing learning experience because, you know, we'd never been in that sort of environment before. So very exciting, very interesting, a bit scary, as all these new things are. And then a few years after that, I realised that, you know, we were going from sort of an analogue world into digital. Yeah. And so, you know, understanding what those fundamental changes were. And when Sky brought in the Sky Plus, and you could fast forward through the ad break at 30 times normal speed, and you know, it was just a fundamental change. And we'd seen what happened to the music industry with the pirating and Napster and all those sort of sharing services, and I thought, well, you know, really that's what broadcast is going to go through. I mean, this is even before the, you know, 2000. This is back in 97, 98, you know, and you know, a bit around the time of the dot-com bubble, you know, that burst and everyone kind of moved on, and so really it was a very exciting time, and I realised that this is what I wanted to do. I really believe that branded content, or brands creating entertaining and engaging content, was the right thing to do. So I started working with lots of different clients in that world, and helping them to create the content with a lot of great producers and production companies, and decided I wanted to launch my own business in that area in about 2004. Prior to that, I saw that BMW invested about $25 million into the BMW film series. So I thought, well, you know, it's not just me saying this. It's, you know, if BMW think it's a good idea, then, you know, it might just be right. So that's really how I sort of got into branded content, and I met the founders of the BCMA. That was founded in 2003. I started my own business in 2004. Okay. Was introduced to them, and I really came into the BCMA on the basis of looking at how we should be measuring the effectiveness of branded content, because no one was really doing that. And I think that's really important that we understand what that can actually deliver. So that's sort of my journey to how I got here. Should we start the game?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it's important.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
You know, I think Red always starts. So.
Well, I think it's this is important, and important that we're kind of touching on the game as we play. With this kind of branded content marketing association, and with branded marketing generally, I know, for example, we've seen the Lego movie. We've seen kind of how exciting that is. At first you kind of see it as, I guess, something which is just an advert for Lego, 90 minutes of Lego advertisement. But when you kind of watch it, you understand that it's far more about the kind of depth of emotion. Anyone can relate to it, the demographic of a child understanding what kind of the fun behind Lego, to an adult who kind of reminisces. It shows you kind of the power of branded content. I guess, is that, what do you think of that?
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree. I'm a little bit biased, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I think it is about brands. Look, no one wants to be interrupted anymore by advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know that. You know, social media has changed the whole way that we consume our messaging and our media.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, you know, brands have lost control. You know, brands are not created in ad agencies anymore. Anyone can create a brand. You know, look at the biggest brands in the world like Airbnb, like Uber. You know, they don't actually own anything. Deliveroo. You know, they're an aggregator. They bring together all the stuff that we want.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a society we've become a little bit lazy, if I'm brutally honest, but we want convenience. But if you're a brand, and Lego's a great example, so is Red Bull, so is GoPro, so is Intel, so is Santander, you know, all these brands that realise actually we need to engage, we need to entertain our potential customers. And then what happens is the magic is that they spend time with your brand in that entertainment sphere, and then they share it with their network of friends, colleagues, family, and they become the advocates for your brand. So it's a very powerful way of communicating, and it taps into that real emotion of great storytelling. You know, when we were kids, when we were growing up, you know, what did our mum and dads do? They read us stories. You know, we love stories as the human race. You know, I read to my kids, you know, but it is about doing it in a way that enriches their lives. And, you know, we talk a lot about now brands with purpose. You know, I only want to buy stuff that I believe in. You know, we've got a problem about sustainability, climate change, plastics. You know, it's a really, you know, there's some amazingly powerful brands out there that have a very strong voice. I mean, look at Nike did with their, you know, campaign very recently, the Copernic, you know, and that was so powerful. Some people were burning their Nike trainers, but their sales incrementally grew by 10%. So ultimately, brands need to sell stuff. They need to, you know, put something out there and make people do something.
I see.
Anyway, I'm going to have my go now. So.
I mean, on that kind of topic, do you think brands should have a purpose? I mean, we only need to look to the Gillette campaign and go, well, whatever you think about it, one way or the other, and go, actually, should a brand be doing something like that? Should a brand be saying something to their consumer base when it's not necessarily correct or the right audience? Is it the right time? Well, I mean, what did you think about that?
I think brands should have a purpose if they truly believe in that purpose, you know, because it is about being authentic. You know, branded content is not really anything new. You know, back in 1895, when John Deere produced the Furrow magazine, which went out to all their customers, it was about agricultural equipment, it was about what was going on in the farming industry, it was about informing their audience and giving them something of value. That magazine is still in publication today, so it stood the test of time. You know, you could even say things like the Michelin Guide. You know, the Michelin brothers realised that if you were driving from restaurant to restaurant, hotel to hotel, you needed to drive your car, and the car needs tyres. I mean, there was a good reason for doing it. It has to have the right context. So if you're a brand and you truly believe in something, then yes, you should do it. You know, it's very difficult for some brands. You know, for example, worked for many years with Colgate-Palmolive. Now, fabulous brand, one of the biggest brands, and actually a very big advocate of content. You know, the Colgate Owl was one, you know, going on back in the 50s. So they invested in it, but you know, toothpaste is not that interesting. Let's be honest, with all due respect. But you know, and clients and brands always say to me, you know, who should we talk to if we want a great story? And I say, go and talk to a journalist, because you need, if you've got a strong narrative, you've got to put it out there and work with the experts.
So it's more about editorial with brand now.
Absolutely. And actually, you know, we can't do everything. I think we're very much in a collaborative world, you know, and I think we've got to work with the experts. And I think that, you know, is really true to the core of the BCMA, about connecting people to the decision makers, putting people in a place where they can create new opportunities. It's a global network. You know, we've grown from a UK-based company now into 15 markets, right across from North America down to India. So, you know, and there's lots of amazing stuff going on around the world of branded content, and we can bring that right back into our members and communicate that. So it's important.
Hopefully we'll hear more about this at TFM on the Keynote Theatre on day 2 with Brenda.
Yes.
From Bacardi.
Absolutely.
And John from Adobe.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be really exciting to have you down for that, and hopefully we'll hear more of those insights there. Yeah, thank you so much for coming down.
It's a pleasure.
I think we need to continue playing our game.
Yeah, I think it's my go, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to do that.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
It's a pleasure.